Amazon Prime is bringing us 3 action fights starting at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern Time, and I want to give you my picks for all those. I'll start off with the main event for the super welterweight title. That's 154 pounds between Tszyu, the challenger, and Murtazaliev, the title holder. Will the fight go the distance? And I'll tell you right now, the answer is no. You can find that on FanDuel at minus 156. I know that's not a very big win right there. It's more of a parlay piece, but I'll give you more picks for that fight as well as the 2 undercards. Before we get into that, my name is Percy. Welcome back to the 4Bs, where we discuss boxing, betting the B-side, and other BS. And also a very special welcome to all the other people who have joined us over the past few episodes as subscribers. If you do like what you hear, please don't forget to like and subscribe and tell other people. I'll go back to the main events in a bit, but first I want to go into the undercard fights. We'll start off with Yoenis Tellez versus Johan Gonzalez, which is only being offered on DraftKings right now with Tellez minus 1,600. Definitely not something I love and something I would only be using as a parlay piece. I tried really hard to find a reason to pick Johan Gonzalez as the underdog, and I couldn't. He's going to get knocked out in this fight. He's got a nice looking record, but Tellez is a good prospect who is looking sharper and sharper in each of the fights that I've seen him in. I watched a few clips of his from earlier fights where it looks like it was taken with like a camcorder or something. I don't know how that's possible in this day and age, but it was. I would definitely go with Tellez in this. If they do offer somehow him by a stoppage of KO or TKO, I would take that instead. But for right now, minus 1,600 in Tellez. The second fight you'll see is between Cesar, Mateo, Tapia, and Endry Saavedra. In this fight, again, I was trying to find a reason to pick the underdog in this, which would be Saavedra, and he does have some things going for him, but the factor that pushed me towards the favorite in this fight in Tapia is that Tapia is someone who has sparred many rounds with Tszyu, and I think that will give him the edge in this fight. Normally, when we've done these picks, they usually end up being on FanDuel, but this time around, to pick Tapia to win by a decision is plus 180 on DraftKings, which is better than the plus 150 you'll find on FanDuel, and that works well with the minus 1,600 as a parlay piece. You can put that in together, right? Going back to the main event, I gave you the pick that the fight would not go the distance, minus 156 on FanDuel and minus 180 on DraftKings. We can do better than that. Let's try and look at some other things that might happen here. There is on both sites at plus 110, you can get more than 1.5 knockdowns in the fight. I think that's a reasonable thing to expect in this fight between two guys when you have Murtazaliev, who is always coming forward, and when he seems to get his opponent hurt, forgets all about defense, is just 100% offense and trying to knock his opponent out. We also know from what we've seen from Tszyu in the past, including in his last fight against Fundora, he's definitely a really tough guy, and he'll fight through any kind of injury and everything like that. So I really don't see this fight where one guy is just trying to last until the end. This is going to be a fight where both of them are going to try and end the fight as soon as they can. With that in mind, I feel confident you can do the plus 110 for more than 1.5 knockdowns in the fight total. Also on DraftKings, there's a couple of things that you might like to do too. I'm looking at these, I do this whole channel partly because I want to control myself from going down too many rabbit holes with things that I could possibly bet on here, but I did find a couple of things on DraftKings I liked. The first was for Tszyu to be knocked down and to win by KO or TKO, and that is at plus 2,200. And another thing is for Murtazaliev to be knocked down in rounds 1 through 6, and that's at plus 185. I actually believe this fight is going to end in the middle rounds, thinking somewhere around like 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. If you're betting on FanDuel, then those are some options you have that they weren't being offered exactly on DraftKings. Tszyu to win in rounds 5 through 6 at plus 750. Him to win in rounds 7 through 8 at plus 500. You can also get 5 through 8 at plus 270, but I kind of prefer to just split my bet between the two if I was going to do something like that, which I think I probably will. Another thing I want to note about this too is I chose the fight to go the distance, and I said no at minus 156 on FanDuel. You could actually do Tszyu by stoppage at minus 135. Given the difference between the two, I think it's safer to say that the fight won't go the distance, partly because I'm worried about things like a cut reopening on Tszyu's face and possibly causing him to lose the fight. For the minimal difference between the two, that's why I went with the fight would not go the distance instead of Tszyu to win by KO or TKO. That's how I see these fights going. I think Tellez is going to win the first fight by a stoppage. I think the second fight is going to go the distance with Tapia getting the victory there. Might be a little bit closer than he likes to. I think this is meant to be a showcase for him, but it's also a bit of a step up for what he's been fighting up until this point. so it could be very competitive. And then in the final, I think that Tszyu is going to pull out a victory, and I think he's going to get the victory earlier rather than later. I really am banking more like rounds 5 and 6 is where it's going to happen. I don't see this going anywhere near the final round. Whatever you decide to do, I hope you guys end up having a good Saturday night and a good day with your bets. And we'll circle back after these are all done to discuss the fallout and how we all did. Good luck to all of you. We will talk again soon.